Someone posed this to me. They said, Mark, I've used to be really diligent about my prayer life, and now that I've gotten older and life has started to happen in a increasing way with our responsibilities and demands, it just has kind of slipped away from me. And now I need more desire. I need more appetite to pray. Is there anything you can say to help me? Well, that's a very difficult question because we all have experienced it in different ways, different times, and it has many dimensions. It really touches the center of our lives. It's important. But something that I take some comfort in, and it should comfort you too, is that prayer is natural. It's not just supernatural. And it's not just discipline. It's pleasure. And you say, Mark, I'm not there. Well, think about this. We are created to be relational. And we're created in His image. So this talking business, this relating business, is natural to us. And many of the things that we just have under our belt, so to speak, when we relate to other human beings from childhood, are not foreign to God or the things of God. They're not in a different category. So the insights that we have just in our human dealings are largely transferable. And, if it was some great mystery as to how to pray or what to pray or how to get, that would be a problem. But it's really natural to us as human beings to pray. And we don't need a great degree. We don't need to have read a whole bunch of stuff to really be able to authentically and genuinely pray and enjoy it. Well, I think one of the first things that to think about is that we're really talking about appetite or desire. And for a while you can force yourself to do anything. But appetite is really what drives us. If we have no appetite, we're not going to do it. And we can sacrifice for a while, but after a while, you need some payback. And I think that's what we're talking about here, is how to get the payback coming to develop the appetite. We have to manage, as human beings, our appetites in order to reach our goal. I mean, it's kind of like somebody who's training for to win a race. You got to pay attention to your sleep. You got to pay attention to what you eat. You got to pay attention to your training, your actual physical training. Well, it's kind of like that. It is like that in the spiritual life. What's your goal? What's your goal? Now, here's the thing. If you don't really like God, which many human beings don't, and it's not funny really, but it does tickle me. Many people just don't like God. They just don't like God because they got bitterness toward Him, and they don't have a thankful heart, and they don't see how He's good. Well, that's kind of what the gospel's really all about. It's getting us out of our God rejection mode into where we think differently about Him. That's the cross. That's what that's all about. So I'm assuming that that's not really the problem here, that it's you have a desire for God, and therefore it's about managing and growing an appetite. Well, I think one of the things that is important to understand before we get into discipline and all that kind of good stuff, is that prayer, the ability to pray, is really grace. Knowing God at all is grace. Desiring God at all is grace. I mean, us human beings, frankly, don't necessarily work that up. That doesn't mean it's not work. I'm not trying to say that. But let me tell you a story in my own life. There was a period of time when I was spending a lot of time seeking the Lord very intently. I was in the scriptures. I was praying just almost all the time. It was a season in my life that I had a real hunger. And to tell you the truth, I was getting kind of proud about it. I was thinking I was really hot stuff. One day I felt it in my gut. Something lifted from me. I would open my Bible like I was accustomed to, and it was just words. I would try to pray, and nothing came. Well, I'd been spending a lot of time doing this. It had really become part of my life, big part of my life, and especially at that season. And all of a sudden it was gone. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I was very desperate. I got to be increasingly desperate. And I could go into it more, but 7 days later, it returned to me, where I could read the Word and I could pray. And I realized God convinced me in a very special way that I can't take that for granted. God's help is needed. I cannot boast about my ability to pray, my inclination to pray, or any of that. I can't, or read the Word. I can't. It's a grace. So that's an important thing to keep in mind in our struggle to be disciplined, as it were. One of the things we need to cry out to God, God, give me an appetite for you. May I desire you. And without God, not only do we not know him, we won't even think about him. Without him and his help and his grace, we can't even pray. He draws us to him. That's his doing. And he reveals himself to us. Now, yeah, there's conditions on it. Yes, we have our part. But let's not forget his part. And a lot of the answer is just to ask. Just to begin to ask God, restore to me the joy of my salvation. Restore to me the hunger for you. Increase my hunger for you. That's probably the best place to begin. I want to tell you something, though, too, that heaven's for you in this. And I'll tell you a story, what I mean by that. My grandson, when he was, I don't know how many months, but he hadn't talked yet. And we were in the kitchen, and the whole family was there. I don't know what the occasion was. And he was sitting in his high chair. Hadn't spoken a word yet. And we were eating. And the little guy said something. And he really what he was doing, he was asking for something. He wanted something on the table. It was amazing. The reaction. My family instantly, all his aunts and uncles and grandma and grandpas and of course his parents too, but they were more in the background. All of a sudden we were called to attention. It was like the whole family was energized and focused on that little guy. And we were all just kind of saying, do you want this? Is it this? You know, it was amazing. It was amazing. And I reflected on that. I thought, why was my family so focused, so excited, so energized to have that little guy talk? And I think that's the way the community above is in heaven. Did you hear he's praying? And the angels and the saints, they all stop and they focus. He's praying. He's praying because that is natural to us as relational beings. We want, words are so important. We want speech. That's like coming into the family, coming into the community. That's like tapping into things that we want, all of us, angels and saints and everybody, we want to have, including God. We want to have, and He's wired us that way. So take comfort that you're not alone. You're not alone in this. There are people that want you to talk, that want you to pray, that want you to have access to that heavenly community, that want you to be a part of it. That's family up above. And not talking is, well, it's one of the greatest hurts that we as human beings have in marriages, between parents and children, between estranged friends. When the speech goes, when we no longer talk, that's trouble. That's trouble. When a person's born or becomes deaf or dumb, that's a huge handicap that grieves everybody around them. They're sorry for that person. Because speech and communication, hearing, being able to hear, being able to speak, that's very, very important. That's what we as human beings do. That's what we do. And those that love us want us to do that. So you got help. You got help from God above. You got help from the angels, the saints. You got help. Everybody's rooting for you to become more of a man of prayer and to be comfortable and skillful and eloquent and even demanding in prayer. That's a big deal. So I'll pause because I don't want this to be too long. I'll probably do another one though. This was fun. Thanks.